Shalom. Praises, power, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kaha Kodash. Yahweh being the name of the Father, who the world even calls God, Yahweh, meaning He exists. Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, who the world even calls Jesus Christ. Yahweh Shai, meaning He is salvation. Bahashem, in the name, Rakaha Kodash, Spirit Holy. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach one and rule well, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akyam, fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth and risking their own lives through the four corners of the earth. To the Akwatim listening, learning, sincerity, and the truth in the silence, Shalom. Akyam meaning brothers, Akwatim meaning sisters, Shalom meaning peace, be unto you. It's your brother Shema from the GMS Toronto camp here in Toronto, here with another lesson. Right, we'll get right into it. Another edition of the war report. Right, wars and rumors of wars. Right, but the pot is being stirred. This is from RT News, September 18th, 2024, the hopeful year that Jacob's trouble comes to pass. It says here, the U.S. has allowed Israel's attack on Lebanon, and now war may follow. All right, and this is by Robert Inlakesh. He's a political analyst, journalist, and documentary filmmaker currently based in London, UK. He has reported from and lived in the Palestinian territories and currently works with Quds News, director of Steel of the Century, Trump's Palestine-Israel catastrophe. So it says here, and we see here, this from this morning, Russia strikes Ukraine's key signals facility. Right? So this thing is brewing. Look up here, it says Russian paratroopers ambush Ukrainian forces in Kursk region. Right? Things are intensifying. It says here, Washington claims it knew nothing of the unprecedented pager bombing attack, but its unconditional support enabled it. On Tuesday, Israel was accused of detonating hundreds of wireless communication devices that were primarily being used in a civilian capacity, injuring upwards of 4,000 people. Although the details are still being ironed out, this attack will now force Hezbollah to make major decisions in retaliation. Right. The key here, it says hundreds of wireless communication devices that were primarily being used in a civilian capacity. Right. So that's everyday folk over there with their cell phones, their wireless devices being detonated in their pockets, in their hands, in their handheld, in their vehicles. Right. Less than a day after the Israeli Security Cabinet officially adopted a new war goal of returning the displaced residents to areas close to the Lebanese border, an indiscriminate attack was carried out throughout Lebanon. This indicates that the war in Gaza has now expanded in the eyes of the Israel political and military leadership to include Lebanon. However, there are question marks surrounding how such an escalation will take shape. The U.S. role. Matter of fact, let's get a scripture. Let's get the least of the flock. That's in Jeremiah. Right, because the land of Israel is going to do something to draw America the Great, Babylon the Great, into war. Jeremiah 49. And 20, and it reads, therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom, right? And who's in rulership? Esau, Edom, these ruling class elites. right? These banking cartels, these banking families, but there's different fractions of Esau, Edom throughout the world, right? Uh, the land of Gog, Magog, who are the Russians. They're Esau, they're Edomites, right? The land of Israel, that's Amalek over there, but they're they are the chief house of the house of Edom, right? Scripture say it was given unto him a great sword. Let's get that real quick, right? So the Edomites are warmongers. They're bloodthirsty. Revelation 6. Points in 4. Verse 3. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, right? Horse is symbolic of power. Red, Esau, Edom. And power was given to him who gave Esau, Edom his power, the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai, that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And that's all Esau has done, is take peace from the earth. And that they should kill one another, right? And there was given unto him a great sword, right? This great sword is his military might, his military technology, right? Esau, Edom is a bloodthirsty man, right? And if the Lord didn't shorten the days, no flesh would be saved. Roughly paraphrasing, this man would take everyone out along with him. Back in Jeremiah 49:20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Teman is the wise men of the house of Esau, the physicists, the nuclear scientists, who are the Germans. Surely the least of the flock, Amalek, who are over there in the land, right, shall draw them out. Draw out who? America the Great. Into what? War. Surely he shall make the habitations desolate with them, right? Missiles are going to strike America the Great, Babylon the Great. Missiles are going to strike the land. The only difference is the land will be rebuilt back up by the heathens, right? And Babylon the Great, America the Great, will never be inhabited ever again. Let's go back into this article. It'll be a land of desert animals. It says here the U.S. rule, commenting on the issue to reporters, U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said that the U.S. was not involved in it. And that's Esau, Edom. Scripture say, never trust thine enemy. As iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Right? If you read further down in that scripture, it says, he will go weeping if he go crouching. Let me get it before I butcher it. Right? Esau always says he never did it. Sirach 12. Points in 11. Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Right? And you go into Psalms 83, it lists the enemies of Yahweh Shem Shai. Right? Beginning with Esau, Edom. All the nations as well, Elam, Ishmael, all of them, they're enemies of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. But Esau, Edom being the first, the chief. And if they're enemies of the Most High, they're enemies of the Israelites. Israel being a people before it's a place. Verse 11, though he humble himself, here's the point. Though he humble himself, Esau, and go crouching, right? This is the makeup of who Esau is, man. It's never a straight answer with him. And he'll lie, he'll humble himself, he'll even weep. Yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Right? So this wicked, diabolical madman, he'll always be the first to say, no, it wasn't us. Right? It says here, Matthew Miller said that the U.S. was not involved in it. The U.S. was not aware of this incident in advance. And at this point, we're gathering information He then even went on. He then even went as far as suggesting that the U.S. government was gathering information, just as journalists around the world are. Listen, Esau Edom, right? All wars are bankers' wars, right? All wars had an event that led up into a full-blown war, right? All wars were proxy wars in the beginning, skirmishes. World War One began with the assassination of I can't remember his name, it's skipping me, but it began with an assassination, right? World War II began with the invasion of Poland by Germany, right? But there were multiple incidents leading up into that. The Vietnam War began with the Gulf of Tonkin. That was an incident in the Gulf of Tonkin. The Korean War began with the incident with Pearl Harbor. It was always incidents leading up to the buildup of full blown war, right? So everything that pops off, trust me, uh, the elites are going to know because they are the string pullers. They're orchestrating things. While this was Washington distancing itself from the incident, it is almost comical for an American official to inform the media that the Biden administration has no special information from its ally on the incident, right? And America and Israel are allies. Taking this at face value, it is an embarrassing admission that the ally to which the U.S. has provided tens of billions of dollars worth of weapons and aid over the past 11 months does not even have channels of dialogue to discuss an attack which could lead to a regional war. Even if we are to assume that the U.S. had no idea about the attack, which is doubtful, the mere fact that American bipartisan support for Israel throughout the course of its war on Gaza has not buckled under immense international condemnation is telling. Every single organ of the United Nations has been ringing the alarm bells accusing Israel of committing war crimes. And even the United Kingdom has decided to cancel 30 of some 350 weapons licensing contracts over violations of international law. While the U.S. has continually stated that it seeks to de-escalate tensions and that it disapproves of an Israel-Lebanon war, at best it is doing nothing to stop it. Right? Scriptures say the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Proverbs 21. All right, let's get it. Right? The Lord is pulling all nations into war. This is the Lord's will. Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart, the rulers, their heart, their mind is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh as the rivers of water. Right? Just like the minds of these rulers are in the hands of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Right? Wherever the Lord, whatever direction the Lord wants it to go, it's going to go. And what is the direction that the Lord wants it to go? Full blown, all out war. Right? World War III will pop off, but before that, the time of Jacob's trouble and the MOTB, the CHIP, the Revelation 13 verse 16 on down, the grain of rice. Right? Then World War III. If the U.S. government were truly so out of the loop with Israel's escalatory steps and really wanted to stop a regional war, the wake-up call should have come at the end of July, when Israel bombed a civilian apartment building in Beirut's southern suburb of Dahiyah, killing Hezbollah commander Fouad Shukr, then only hours later assassinated the leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran. This would have been the time when the Americans put pressure on the Israelis to stop. Instead, the U.S. government decided to do the very opposite. At the United Nations Security Council session called to discuss the issue, they condemned Iran. On top of this, just under 2 weeks later, the U.S. decided to approve a $20 billion weapons package for Israel. Right? That's enough on that. You get the point. But what's going to happen is, what does the scripture say? These Ishmael is going to band together, man. Right? Ishmael is going to resort back to his nature. Second Ezra 15 and 29. It reads 15 and 28. Second Ezra 15 and 28. Behold, a horrible vision, and their appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia, right? The nations of the dragons of Arabia, right? The Arabs, the Persians, Iran, shall come out with many chariots, their might, their drones, their fighter jets, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Right, and these Ishmael makes up Iran, right? Saudi Arabia, Turkey. Turkey is a member of the NATO nations, right? Also, the Carmenians. The Carmenians are there. Is Iran, right? Iran's being quiet right now, right? But we know he backs Hezbollah, he backs Hamas, and who backs Iran? Russia. Also, the Carmenians, who is Iran, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, right? So we know the Islamic states are going to band together, right? Jordan, Lebanon, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians, America the Great, Babylon the Great, right? The narrative has been being pushed for decades now of tea attacks. And then shall the dragons, right, Ishmael and them, have the upper hand, remembering their nature, right? And what is their nature? It says in Genesis 6 that he is a wild man. Salakia, Genesis 16. This is the account of Ishmael, right? Genesis 16, verse 9. We'll read from 8. Verse 8. Genesis 16, verse 8. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence comest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. Hagar was a handmaid of Sarai, who later became Sarah, right? Sarai, who later became Sarah, was the wife of Abraham. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Return to thy mistress and submit thyself under her hands. And the angel of the Lord Yahweh said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Lord Yahweh said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, right? And the name Ishmael, right, who was the son of Abraham. In the Hebrew, Yashma'ala, power will hear, right? El being power, right? Will hear. That was a name. He's the son of Abraham. God will hear. Go back into it. And shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord Yahweh hath heard thy affliction. Here's the point. and he will be a wild man, right? So we just read the dragons of Arabia will remember their nature, and he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren, right? So this nature of Salakia, of Ishmael, he's about to return to his wild man roots, right? He's about to listen. We see war accounts and war documentaries of how Ishmael gets down, man. He doesn't play. Second Ezra 15 and 31. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, right? So the Islamic states, nations, countries, they're going to come together, right? They're going to come together. Verse 32. Then these shall be troubled, bled, and keep silence through their power and shall flee. And from the land of the Assyrians, America, shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them, and in their host, their armies, American Babylonian troops, shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. Their leadership is going to be at odds with one another. America the Great, Babylon the Great, their military upper brass, their rulership, they're going to be at odds, strife among their kings. It says here, the host shall be their army shall be fear, and in their host shall be fear and dread. There's a scripture in Jeremiah 51. Points in 30. Jeremiah 51 and 29. And the land shall tremble in sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord Yahweh shall be performed against Babylon. Right? And what is the purpose of Yahweh Shem Yahushai against Babylon? Destruction. Thermonuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles. To make the land of Babylon a desolation without an inhabitant. Here's the point. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. Let's read this in the NLT. Jeremiah 51 and 30 in the NLT. And it reads, her mightiest warriors no longer fight. They stay in their barracks, their courage gone. They have become like women. The invaders have burned the houses and broken down the city gates, right? So we know the courage is going to be taken out of Babylon the Great, America the Great's military, man, right? Back in Second Ezra 15. Second Ezra 15 and 34. Behold, clouds from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm, right? Because these allied nations, Russia being the big brother, they're gonna be banded together. Right? These clouds from the east and from the north unto the south are their fighter jets, their planes, their drones, full of wrath and storm. They shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, the stars being missiles, even their own star, and blood shall be from the sword unto the belly, and dung of men unto the camel's hoe, right? Great mass death, right? Scripture says, horse's bridle. Let's get that real quick. It's in Revelation. Revelation 14 and 20 in the NLT. We'll read in the KJV. In the NLT, Revelation 14 and 20, the grapes were trampled in the winepress outside the city, and blood flowed from the winepress in a stream about 180 miles long, as high as a horse's bridle, right? Mass death coming to America the Great, Babylon the Great. KJV. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress. Matter of fact, let's read from 19. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth and gathered the vine of the earth and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Right, mass death is coming to this America the Great, Babylon the Great. Right, but there's going to be all kinds of lead up. Right, we know Jacob's trouble still has to take place. We know the worldwide mandate implementation of the CHIP, the grain of rice, the Revelation 13 verse 16 on down, has to take place, right? And then World War III. But we know wars and rumors of wars, proxy wars, skirmishes, all kinds of incidents are going to lead to this buildup, right? This is just another event leading up into the buildup. So with that, all praises, all power, all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone to teach one rule well. Shalom to the hopeful elect.